Welcome to Her Fantasy Football. You can hear us on Blog Talk Radio /Her Fantasy Football and on iTunes. Make sure to subscribe to us on herfantasyfootball.com so you know what we're up to this off season. Also, you can chat with us on Twitter at HerFantasyFB and on Facebook /Her Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Courtney Kirby.
And I'm Ashley Williams.
And I'm Brandon Lee.
And today's show will be about the NFC North and South.
All right, up and down.
Full. It's full. I paired the two because there's some weak ones, some really good ones in both. So it's good. It's perfect.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with the NFC North, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, so I had made notes, and Courtney's like, who are you even talking about in your news section? Because she's been so non-existent for like a year and a half. So former owner William Clay Ford, he passed away about 15 months ago, and Martha Firestone Ford actually took over, and she finally spoke to the media, which is nothing crazy. Nothing crazy was said. No news came from it, but it's been a long time waiting. So that's just kind of the news there in terms of she came off very sweet, she came off very nice, but people wanted it to be known that do not be fooled by her nice demeanor. She knows her football. And in fact, she was the one that actually came up with the idea to oust Jim Schwartz. She was like, she wanted him gone sooner than he was. So maybe not so sweet. Or maybe she puts up with no crap. I don't know. But either way, Jim Caldwell was like, she knows her football.
Right. And she also knows her crazy. Because remember he got all nutso after the game, remember? Didn't,
it was the Baltimore game.
Issue.
Yeah, she was like, screw this. Absolutely not. Not on my team.
Good for her.
Let's get a petition going for her to come on our show.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. She sounds like the perfect person to
be like Martha,
co-host even with us. Yeah.
Tell us about
I like that she's a Firestone and a Ford.
And a Martha.
Oh my gosh. What kind of
and a Martha.
Is that?
It's called trifecta name power.
I was like, I'm not going to be fooled that she's sweet. That's what I'm not going to be fooled by.
With that name, and if you weren't rich, how sad, right? I mean, like, that is some, like good names.
Yeah, that is an American dynasty right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously.
But it's interesting because, she's got they clearly really respect her because they very much have sheltered her these past 15 months to really let her, she's been running the operation still, but in terms of the media, in terms of getting comfortable, in terms of really coming to terms with her husband's death, I mean, they were married for, almost half a century, so she needed some time, so I respect that.
Well, I wish some owners would take note and take some time off air.
She's
no names. Jerry.
Ursay.
Yeah. Oh my God. So good.
Have a meeting with Martha, boys. All right. Yeah. So we'll get to the giraffe musts now that we've talked about Martha Firestone Ford enough.
That's awesome. Have a meeting with Martha at Firestone. She'll be the one in the Ford.
Yep.
Amazing.
Must drafts.
So there's the obvious ones that are also kind of not so obvious. I mean, they are obvious, but people are just kind of pissy about them, and rightfully so. I get it. There's Matthew Stafford. He's the 11th the 11th quarterback for ADP and 80th overall, so you can give him in the 8th round, which I am okay with. And what I'm going to say is I just want to pretend like last year didn't happen. Can we agree to this? Can we agree that it was just an anomaly? And that
I'm telling you, that team has not been the same since the snowstorm of 2013.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's the same thing. Last year they did the same thing, so I can't say that the year before they did the same thing. So I can't say last year didn't happen because I remember very distinctly that in 2013, Courtney got totally screwed by all the Detroit Lions.
The Lions were just completely mediocre last year. It was no wave. Whereas in 2013 they were fabulous until playoffs, and then they just totally pooped the bed.
Yeah, I mean, they're really good up to that blizzard. And then last year, which are my other two must-drafts, are Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate, you've got Calvin Johnson, who was just riddled with injuries, wasn't himself, came back, left. Golden Tate didn't quite know what in the world it is he was supposed to do, whether he's wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, am I running this route, that route, what am I doing?
But he was pretty good.
He was pretty good. So
and he should be. Hopefully, the offense will get Tate involved in a better way, like find his role because Golden Tate is good.
He is good, and this is why I feel much better this year. That's why I'm saying, can we pretend 2014 did not happen for Matthew Stafford because Calvin Johnson is back. No, he didn't have the greatest year last year, but he's still Calvin Johnson. He's now a rested, healthy Calvin Johnson. And with that said, there was a whole lot of hoopla how Megatron's terrible and yada yada. He was still the 14th highest scoring wide receiver last year, which was surprising to me, which is still a must start in your receiver category. No, he wasn't high-end wide receiver 1 value that you drafted him for, but he was injured. So the fact that he was still able to get 14th with an injury, calm down. Calm down. And Golden Tate was 13th highest wide receiver. So, even though they both kind of struggled or weren't playing and what was going on, they still were producing points and they were doing what it is you needed to do. So with another season under his belt and Megatron healthy, I'm feeling okay about them. Joique Bell I'm not as sure on. I have him as a muff draft because you're going to have to draft him. But you're not going to draft him high. At all. He's not going high. He's going as the 28th running back off the board, first of all, 69th overall.
Which I think is great value.
Great value. If you can get him as the 28th running back off the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got him in the 5th or 6th round, I can't remember tonight, in my first draft of the season, my first expert draft of the season, and I felt pretty good about it. I mean, I know he's hurt and everyone's worried and that Amir Abdullah is going to overtake him. And
he just had surgery with his Achilles tendon and his knee. They're not sure if he's going to be healthy enough by training camp, so that's making them nervous.
I hate that.
That which kind of goes into my sleepers/non-sleepers because Joique Bell's going 28th, but Amir Abdullah is going 32. Not very many spots behind him, but he's the one getting the first string reps right now because they're not sure about Joique Bell. So if you are thinking about either, I would certainly handcuff yourself. And Abdullah's, he could be good, and the Lions are certainly known for running back by committee situations, so I wouldn't even be remotely surprised if they do another one of those this year. They gave Bell 1 year to run on his own, and now they're probably going to strap him back to a committee.
Sad.
And then my last one is TJ Jones. So he's a wide receiver, and this kid's looked pretty okay in OTAs. Granted, it's OTAs. It's just OTAs. But it's really the first time he's actually played with the Lions. He has not played in pads or even felt the impact of a player since he was in college in Notre Dame. He was out all last year with injury. But the tight ends, Eric Ebron and Joseph Faria, which, again, I know I'm not in the popular opinion here where I am not an Eric Ebron fan. They're not exactly top receiving candidates. So this kid's actually got a chance to get worked into the plan. So you can probably get him crazy, crazy, crazy low, or maybe not even draft him at all. But keep your eye on him as he may get incorporated in a wide receiver 3 set.
Did you guys draft Eric Ebron last year in any of your drafts?
No.
None.
I didn't either. We may be the only 3 people that didn't.
I did draft Joseph Fourier though in one. That our really deep one we do in July.
Yeah.
I got Joseph injured,
Fourier, like really deep.
And he's still higher up on the, he'll still probably get more production than Ebron, quite honestly. But everyone loves him. I'm not on that train. Not on it.
I got another tight end who do the same thing later. Green Bay Packers, sorry. So I put up an article today. I don't know if we talked about this. I am also now writing for FanDuel.
Yes, you are.
FanDuel, your daily fantasy sports site. I did an article today about weather and about how it affects teams as far as play calling and what have you, and if you should use any of that information to set your lineup. Ends up no. Which I was surprised by. I thought there would be more of like a variance. Yeah, no. Excuse me, as I'm like coughing and dying here. In fact, the Green Bay Packers rush attempts went up 36.94% between their first 5 games and their last 5 games.
That's a rush attempt. Of course you're good at rush in bad weather.
Right. Their passing attempts went up 18%. First. Last. Their whole offense just got better.
But in fairness, the Packers were, remember, relax.
Yeah,
they weren't great at the beginning of the season last year. So no stats were looking good first 5 games.
That's what I was going to say.
Relax, people.
Relax.
Eddie Lacy was terrible at the beginning of the season. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And he was terrible. So that's why that happened. Buffalo Bills actually went down in rush attempts, and so did the Vikings, who are also outside in frigid weather. Whereas the Cowboys went up, the Colts went down in everything, and the Chargers went down as well.
Well, and Brandon, correct me if you're wrong, but there's probably something to be said about these teams. They practice in the cold. They know they know the cold. It's not like it's Miami coming into Lambeau Field.
Yeah, that's very true.
These are cold weather teams, you know.
But then I even checked, though, the teams so the Colts, the Chargers, and the Cowboys each had one bad game where it was really, really cold. There was like a Kansas City game that was like 20 degrees, and it was like actually 15 wind chill. There was something else. But of all of their coldest games, none of those were the team's worst performance. So even if you are used to it, you're not as bad. And then what's interesting, though, is that it worked the other way, too, where, like, Green Bay had one nice game, the Vikings had one nice game, and so did the Bills, where they were in, a dome or in a nice climate, and that wasn't their best game.
Yeah. Is it just cold, or is it based on rain and snow as well?
Well, it's off of I took the first 5 games and the last 5 games. So that has cold, wind, snow, whatever may possibly happen in the 3 worst stadiums. And then 2 are domes, 1 San Diego, which is basically paradise. So anyway, I was looking at that. It's really wind. Yeah, wind is what the deal is, but not as much for most of the skill players as it is for kickers. So anyway, what I was going to say, though, about the Green Bay Packers is that it doesn't matter because you should always start them. That's really what the article is about, is that I don't care what it's like outside. If Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback, you're going to start him. If you are having Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb on your roster, you start them. Eddie Lacy, you start him. So there's really not much to say about that.
Really feel good about Randall Cobb. Like, feel good about him. That man, I think, is... Yeah, I mean, not only is he nice to look at, which if anybody's been watching the 100 top NFL players that have been voted in by other NFL players...
yeah.
What is his name? Oh, my gosh. The defensive back. I can't remember his name right now, but he is hilarious in these shows, and he's talking about his eyes. Cobb's eyes.
Are you talking about Clay Matthews?
No, not Clay Matthews. I want to say Ian. It's not Ian. It's... Anyways, I'll think about it.
Okay.
No, but Randall Cobb's good. He's really good, and he's young, and I think he's going to be even better this year. I think he's going to be right there with Jordy.
Yeah, so the only concern is that Jordy Nelson is getting back on track after a hip surgery in the off-season. Seems like everything went well. He's already practicing again, and even
Ike Taylor.
In their Ike Taylor, yeah. Okay.
Yes, right. So funny. Sorry.
He's even partaking in their softball league.
Oh. Which you really do in a softball league if you're like rehabbing an injury?
Yeah, I can't decide if I'm happy or sad about this.
The players have like busted knees on the off season playing basketball and
yeah.
I mean, sometimes you gotta live your life. It is your off season.
Yeah, but still,
you're getting millions of dollars to play football. Like, sit your bottom down on the bleachers.
Maybe it's like a keg league where there's like a keg on second base and it's just totally chill, and you're like
no touch.
Have to have the red cup in your hands at all times, so it's just like real.
Yeah. I don't know. Either way, he's gonna be fine.
Still drafting him.
Sleepers are concerned. Devontae Adams looks really good. We loved him last year. Hopefully he can score a touchdown outside of Lambeau Field this year. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yep.
But he was great as his Lambeau Leap, so let's keep it up. And they have a rookie wide receiver option, Ty Montgomery, and everyone's kind of talking about him, but gosh, there's a lot of mouths that need to be fed. I'm not loving it. But if you're in Dynasty, he's a golden ticket because no one knows what's going to happen with Jordy Nelson. These guys get older. Jordy Nelson turned 30. Who knows? Also, just a reminder, don't use any tight ends. They don't exist on that team. And you're going to hear Richard Rodgers' name over and over again, just like you did last preseason. And I'm just reminding you, they don't use them. Okay, thanks, bye.
They don't.
This is the Ladarius Green of 2014.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in it.
Don't listen.
Minnesota Vikings. Really, the only news for the Vikings is that Peterson is still a Viking.
Shocking.
Right.
Crazy.
Oh, that is funny.
Oh, it's so good. Which I'm going to start off with my must draft is Adrian Peterson. Unfortunately, if you're not the first 3 people in the draft, he will be gone. His ADP is second. A lot of people have him going first, but I think this offseason is really going to only most likely increase his value. But overall, the Vikings are going to be, I think, a different team this year. I'm really excited for them. I'm nervous what it means for fantasy. AP says he's going to get the ball thrown to him more, which will make him even more like a Jamal Charles, more well-rounded running back, although, Peterson has no problems on the ground. So, but when it comes to receivers, this is where I get a little dicey with the Vikings. They got Mike Wallace this offseason, right? Mike Wallace did really, pretty good with Miami, and he says that this offense is even way better for him because, they're going to air the ball out occasionally, a lot more than they did for Miami.
Norv,
yes. But there's a lot of people to throw the ball to now, whereas before, really nobody could name a receiver that wasn't Cordell Patterson for his potential. And now you have Mike Wallace, Charles Johnson, who really stepped it up last year and looked really good.
Yeah.
I like him.
I do too. He's going in the 9th round, and I'm really okay with that. Mike Wallace is going around in the 8th round, and I feel really good about that. Unfortunately, this offseason, Teddy Bridgewater's been working out with Kyle Rudolph, like the nightmare of tight ends. Which does not excite me because he's like, I love him. He's a different guy. He's playing like I've never seen him play before. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Yeah. So, Rudolph has all this potential in the world. He just gets hurt. He's been injured literally from his hips down to his toes. Everything.
Although, in fairness to Teddy, who else you going to really work out with on the Vikings? It's not like AP's going to work out with you. There's not any real solid players or vets for him to work with.
Well, the funny thing is that Mike Wallace, I think, is like the oldest person on the team minus AP, and he's like 27. Yeah. And, it's a really young team. So, it's going to be this is going to be a good year. This is a lot of their sophomore, junior years, and I think this is going to be a lot a better gel for all of them. Kyle is healthy. He's not getting drafted till way late, so it's a very risky pick. But as we said, tight ends are so shallow. If you don't get one of the top 4 or 5 tight ends, it's kind of a wash anyways. And then Cordell Patterson, everybody's writing articles, he's got all this potential. He is the 4th wide receiver right now, the 4th. Yeah. So he's not even practicing with Teddy Bridgewater. He is getting thrown by Sean Hill. So I feel
like there should be a rule. If there's an article where they mention a guy's got potential more than 3 times in the article, do not draft him. Do not do it.
Well, I even put it up on Twitter today. I said, if you had to choose one from the Vikings, who would you pick, Jarius Wright or Cordell Patterson? And people are Patterson for his potential every single time. And I will say he's great on special teams, but that's not going to get you fantasy points unless he gets a touchdown. So, it's not my favorite. I'm excited for the Vikings this year, but receiving core makes me nervous in fantasy drafts. So that's where I'm at.
Are you nervous about Courtney that they keep talking about that they're going to spread the wealth a bit more with AP and or with Asiata or whatnot, and AP's not going to get as many touches?
No, I think that's BS.
Yeah. I'm
not concerned at all. Yeah. Do you feel the opposite?
No, I feel exactly.
I don't think he would have.
I think when they mean spread the wealth, they mean like they're going to throw the ball to him more. He's going to see more of everything than not just being a rushing running back. Like, I think he's going to be a lot more because his receiving numbers were not great in 2013. I'm going to go off 2013 because last year he only played 1 game, but he only had 171 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. and not many receptions, 29 receptions. And Jamal Charles had like double that, right? And that's who he's kind of going 1 and 2 with. So I would say that, yeah, and again, this might be talk, you know, at this time of year, a lot of people put out weird things, but
yeah.
I think AP is, the offense is surrounded by AP. So I don't see that.
Yeah.
I don't. And you know what? Teddy Bridgewater is going really deep, too. I didn't really talk about him. But with all of those people to throw to, and if AP is going to be catching a lot more passes, his value does go up. And I think that he is a perfect backup quarterback if you have a really strong one and you can wait until late, because he's not going until way late. So, like 16th round, 15th, 16th round. So, for your backup, I think he's totally legit. Good season this year.
You know how I feel
Chicago
about that.
Bears, Jay Cutler.
Well, Jay Cutler came out, you guys, and said something shocking. I mean, he said that he thinks that Alshon Jeffrey could be a wide receiver 1.
Oh,
It's crazy.
Welcome to the present, Jay Cutler.
he is technically your wide receiver 1, Jay.
Could be.
Could be.
Already been there. Hello.
Oh, that
He's
makes
like
me
2
nervous,
seasons
Jay.
back to back with 1,000+ yards. He could be.
You have to worry. When Jay starts to like you, your career does start to go downhill fast.
No, worked for Marshall for a while. It's when Marshall told him what he really thought.
That's true.
Then it got crazy. I had an interview with Cecil Lammey as well this week. I had a very busy week with the RotoViz podcast. Make sure to check it out. It was really, really fun. But Cecil Lammey straight up on the podcast said that John Fox hates rookies, which is pretty much a scientific fact. But I just wanted to reiterate it and give a shout out to Cecil Lammey from Football Guys and say, yes, you're right. So when we're talking about Kevin White, I want you all to sit down, simmer down. Also,
Simmer down.
I mean, he's having him run with the second team. No, I don't think he's going to stay
making
with the
it pretty clear.
Yeah,
He's
but
making a point. Making him work for it.
He's making a point. He's making him work for it. I don't think that's going to happen, but I also don't think that he's going to be the stud muffin you want him to be. I'm sorry. His coach is John Fox. It just is what it is. Also, there are a lot of mouths to feed. First, there's Alshon Jeffrey, who's amazing. Then there is Martellus Bennett, who is now at camp. He's not holding out anymore. He's not happy, but he'll be fine. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And then there is Matt Forte, who's just going to continue being the most talented person that no one ever talks about.
And you know what? He might even be a running back 1.
He might be.
Could be.
He could be.
Could be.
Could be. Gotta check in with Jay real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't it Jay last
Has
year
all
said
the
that
potential.
Brandon Marshall was going to be the MVP of 2014? Wasn't that Cutler? I just love him.
I know.
Stuff's so crazy.
So Matt
So
Forte
good.
is not going to get probably the 102 catches that he got last year, but he's going to get probably between 50 and 70, and I think it's going to be a big part of this offense. Don't get scared away by the fact that, you know,
New coach.
Mark Trestman's not there. They're going to use him. I'm not worried about him. I'm more worried about the Alshon Jeffrey, Kevin White, Marcus Wilson disaster zone, the Eddie Royal, who's going to be my sleeper, because Eddie Royal is A, having a great preseason, and B, has chemistry with Jay Cutler and Adam Gase, the offensive coordinator. So I think there's a possibility that he's a starter and a viable person to have on your fantasy roster. And I know this sounds crazy because you're saying to yourself, Eddie Royal, Brandon. I have heard this story before.
But Eddie Royal had some good games last season.
Yeah, he had one of his best seasons last year, and now he's reunited with the guy where he had his very best season. I think there's a possibility here, and I would keep your eye out for it. I'd rather draft him than Kevin White.
Agreed.
Heard it here. Yeah, so there you go. The Three Musketeers. Royal, Cutler,
Musketeers.
Casey, until midseason when they give up on Cutler.
That's right.
All possible.
Oh my gosh. Well, and only because you picked them as one of your teams, Brandon, because you always get all the controversial quarterback situations.
Oh, wait till our last team.
It'll be perfect. All right, NFC South, Atlanta Falcons. You know, this is a team that's there is no gray. You're either drafting him or you're not. Julio Jones, love he's one of my fantasy husbands for sure. His ADP is about 16, so he's going, early to mid second round. I think that's perfect. I mean, I think he's legit. I don't think you can really get past him. He's, had almost 1,600 yards last year. So that's crazy town. So
and he even had a rough season. He was out some games.
Well, and yeah, he was a bit of a decoy some games.
Yeah.
So he didn't get a lot of touchdowns, but he did get a lot of yards. So
yeah, his per game is crazy. It's like Arian Foster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I think he'll get a lot more touchdowns this year, and I'm totally on board with him. Matt Ryan, I think he's one of those guys that people forget about. That's a quarterback that's good. I'd feel more comfortable with Matt Ryan than I would Matthew Stafford. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
No question. Matt Ryan, I think, is like you can wait for a long time on a quarterback and get Matt Ryan in the late 6th round, and I think that's great. Like I really find that to be fabulous value for a player. So. I'm sold. Roddy White, he's one of those guys that's kind of like your Calvin Johnson. Everyone thinks he's had such an awful year, and then you go back and look at his numbers, and he's like, he really wasn't that bad.
No.
Roddy White wasn't that bad.
No,
he really wasn't. He had 921 yards and 7 touchdowns, and nobody drafted. I mean, maybe they did draft him a little high last year, but he's going right at the beginning of the 7th round this year, and I think that is fantastic value. So
my only problem is Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Well, and Roddy White says that they're not going to be throwing the ball as much, but
they aren't exactly rocking it in the running back situation.
Devontae Freeman and a rookie, Tevin Coleman, who is probably going to outbeat Freeman, is what everybody's saying.
For sure.
Which would not surprise me, right? I mean, come on. But you're not going to.
Yeah, you have a Julio Jones
the Atlanta
on your
Falcons
team and not throw.
Exactly. It's Matt Ryan. The man is going to throw the ball, and he's got 2 good targets. I don't see this going any other way than it went last year. I think these people are safe bets, as is Matt Bryant, the kicker. Love him. But
wasn't there a week where he got 35 points?
It's crazy.
He's the one who got he had that crazy. I think it was when they were humiliated Tampa Bay. Do you remember this?
Oh my gosh.
Matt Bryant's always solid. He's not a top 3, but he's definitely top 7.
But I think he had a record-breaking fantasy performance one week where it was sometimes these kickers do that. All of a sudden there's 85 points. You're like, what's going on? Not 85, but 35 points, and you're like,
there's lots of times your kicker scores more points for you than your wide receiver. Lots of times.
Yeah, and I mean,
not your wide receiver one, but
hopefully.
I think they're going to get down the field more, and I think that Matt Bryant will have more of an opportunity to get more field goals. How about that? I'm into him. Yeah. And don't worry about the defense. Atlanta's awful. They don't have any good tight ends. They have Jason Tamme, for heaven's sakes. As Broncos fans, we all know how that situation pans out.
Jacob Tamme.
I said Jason Tamme. It's Jacob Tamme. Yeah.
How could you forget that?
I know.
Tammy's such a good team player. Great team player. Not great.
Great. He can watch my children. He's not on my fantasy team.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
great. Carolina Panthers.
He can watch my children. That's gonna be my new
She's
line.
not gonna start him. That's not happening.
No, I'm not gonna draft him.
Children. Okay. Congrats to Cam for his $103.8 million contract with $60 million guaranteed. Gotta feel good about that.
Yep.
And just today, though, their guard, Tyrone Green, tore his Achilles and is out for the year.
Ugh.
Can't feel good about that.
No, that's the last thing that they need, that team,
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. So the Panthers are one of those teams that I really need to see in the preseason. So I'm going to kind of cop out with my analysis. Why? Because it's a weird team with a lot of pending parts, and I'm not quite sure what's going on. So Kelvin Benjamin you're going to draft, not because he's exceptional, but because he has an exceptional workload. He did not have a great catch percentage, a lot of issues with a lot of things. Hopefully he'll improve
Running
in his
routes.
He was a rookie, you know, that's expected.
Yeah.
And he was thrown in to be the number one guy. And the only guy.
The only guy. A lot of pressure.
Not just number one, but only. Like, he legitimately was the only receiver.
Yeah, so I'm impressed. I'm impressed he did as well as he did.
Yeah.
So, he ended the season with 1,008 yards and 9 touchdowns. He'll likely do about the same. Low end 1,000, 8 to 12. No, not 12. 10 touchdowns, maybe. Maybe he'll get double digits. I don't know. Greg Olsen, I actually have decided to rank him number 2 for tight ends. Rob Gronkowski is another planet.
I love that.
Here's Rob Gronkowski, but I think Greg Olsen is the most solid tight end back.
I agree. I totally agree. And he, too, got an amazing contract this offseason. I agree. Greg Olsen is going to be the tight end everyone wished they drafted.
Yeah, he last year as well, 1,008 yards, 6 touchdowns. And he's a tight end, people.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy. As far as sleepers are concerned, once again, I didn't list Cam as a must draft because I don't know what's happening there. I feel weird. Probably, but his numbers keep kind of sliding, and I need to support him. And this guard getting hurt and everything else, I need to see it. But, oh no. Okay. Well.
What's wrong?
Okay, here we go again.
Did Cammy just really throw things off for you there?
Yeah, sorry, Cammy Cam. No, just kidding. My little thing went weird, but we're good. We're back.
Yay.
We're live, everybody. We're live. You like that? You like that? Yeah, so Jonathan Stewart, though, listen, he ended the season up strong, but they keep talking about how he's going to have to, work for his workload and that, he'll get as many carries as in correlation to how well he's doing. And I don't like any of the talk coming out right now. And Jonathan Stewart's always been a little dubious. So don't spend too much on him.
Dubious. Fabulous. That's a fabulous word to use.
Dubious. And then also Devin Funchess is the number 2 guy now, and now he's a rookie. So, wow, Kelvin gets to be a veteran. I feel weird about this whole team. Jericho Cotchery's there, Mr. Touchdown out of nowhere from Pittsburgh last year. I mean, how many times that guy score for no reason? And then Ted Ginn, Jarrett Boykin, who supposedly is like out of shape and crazy. I don't know what's going on. So I'm not ready. None of these guys have any stats really to talk about. So
it's crazy. The Panthers is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about the Panthers.
New Orleans Saints.
I'm so mad I have the team. I'm just not thrilled. In general. Because there's so boring talk about. We'll talk a little exciting news. I'm excited about that. But the Saints quarterback, Ryan Griffin, clearly the backup quarterback, had 50 stitches after being hit in the face with a champagne bottle.
Oh, no.
It's supposed to be just nice offense. He's just innocent bystander. It's not a big deal. But of course, took his hat off, talking to reporters to show it to him. He's like, I don't want it to scar. Absolutely no fantasy value to you in that story, as you were obviously not drafting Ryan Griffin. On to what could potentially be fantasy news, but probably not, was Marcus Colston was sidelined with injury this week. What injury? Colton said it's not a specific injury, but that, the team just wanted to limit him to the end of his next season. This makes at least 3 sessions he has missed 50 days in the last 3 weeks. Don't feel great about that. Yeah, he's old, but he needs the work. He's not exactly like top vet. I can just stroll through OTAs, no big deal. FYI. So Drew Brees is obviously driving injuries. That's okay. I'm going to talk about that. I'm just during my time talking about the Mark Ingram CJ situation. I'm going higher than CJ. So Mark is going for 65. Okay. So in terms of that, I'm just kind of angry about it. I'm angry with the fact that we are back to, a running back by committee situation.
No one likes that.
No. No one likes that. And if they finally gave Mark Ingram the ball, he did well, but now we're back to this. So, what are we going to say here? Spiller. He's looking to play a very similar role of that of Darren Sproles, who in 2010, which was Sproles' best season with the Saints, ran for 603 yards plus an additional 710 yards receiving. You know, with Spiller's versatility in terms of the backfield and being able to catch the ball up, you know, we're looking at potentially more touches for Spiller than we are for Ingram. I don't love that. But with that said, what about Ingram? Well, the Saints just re-signed Ingram in March to a 4-year deal worth $16 million. So they're obviously committing to Ingram, but then they're bringing in Spiller. Spiller probably will realistically have more touches at the end of the day. So I don't know what to say about the backfield for the Saints. They're being ranked the 4th best backfield right now in terms of the highest being the Eagles, the Seahawks, then the Vikings, and then we've got the Saints.
What? Look at for the NFL, but not for fantasy, right?
Not for fantasy, but NFL in terms of NFL production. But look at this. Eagle was a solo running back. Seahawks, solo running back. Vikings, a solo running back. Why are we doing the committee? I don't love it. I'm so irritated because I was hoping they were going to give Mark Ingram the chance to really try to take control of the backfield. And Spiller just kind of comes in and murks things up, you know?
It's true.
I don't like it.
With that said, think PPR here because more than likely Spiller's going to be getting a lot more receptions than Ingram. And if he's getting more touches and he's going to maybe share an equal workload in the backfield as well, it'll be interesting. I don't know. Sleepers, receivers, I guess, to some extent here. You've got Marquise Colston. He's going about 120th, so you probably don't have to draft him. But, you know, he was technically the highest scoring wide receiver last year on the team, and he was still only the 33rd highest scoring receiver. So even as the best receiver on the Saints team, he is still not a starter in the wide receiver 3 fantasy football format.
But someone has to catch the ball. It's Drew Brees, and they don't have Jimmy Graham anymore.
So everyone thinks it's Brandon Cooks, right? So he's actually, which is crazy, going 38th overall. He was the 57th best last year. Granted, he had some injuries and whatnot. I get it. And I think he will have a better year this year. But I would like to remind you, these are the Saints. You cannot count ever on a Saints.
No, in fantasy, it's awful. It really is awful.
It is awful.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm so surprised they got rid of Kenny Stills. It doesn't make any sense.
I know.
I don't get it. But they're all in on Brandon Cooks. Everyone's all in on him. I would never put all my money in on a Saints wide receiver. I won't do it. Even with Jimmy Graham gone, production will go up a little bit, but I still don't love it.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see this OTA in preseason because it's going to be a completely different team without their number 1 player.
I bet you CJ Spiller will be the number 1 receiver on that team.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a statement.
I like it.
Saying it.
Well, then, hell, I'm drafting CJ Spiller.
Yeah. Just changed my mind. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mike Evans is a great talent, but I just want to point out, take it how you will, it's fine. He did get 12 touchdowns last year, which is quite a lot.
A lot.
And I have a hard time believing that he's going to replicate those numbers with a rookie quarterback. I could be wrong, but there's a possibility that his touchdowns will go down. That means that you want his yards to go up. He had over 1,000 yards, 1,051 to be exact, but 458 of them were in 3 games in a row, week 9, 10, and 11. So I'm not saying that I'm not going to take him. I like Mike Evans. I think that he is a great talent. I'm very excited, but he's going very high in ADP right now.
You're saying it's not your favorite sophomore coming in.
He actually might be the best sophomore. Well, no, I don't ODB obviously. But
I like Kelvin Benjamin perhaps more as well.
I like Mike Evans a lot. I mean, I think that last year they targeted him every single time in the red zone. That's why he has 12 touchdowns. It's because they targeted him every single time. I think it's going to be a similar situation to last year with quarterbacks. I mean, it's a rookie and then like a 40-year-old, but both consistent play, like you're not drafting either one of them as your quarterback, right? So I think that it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
Except I do think Jameis Winston is going to try to get it out more because he's very full of himself or confident. And I think he'll try to air it out more.
I guess my thing is when it comes to receivers, I would so much rather take a yardage receiver than a touchdown receiver.
It's true. You'd hate I hate
Certainly.
touchdown.
Because he's the kind of
dependent
guy,
receiver.
because I had him, that you're watching, and he has 0 points. Then he gets to 2 points maybe. He's at 2 points the entire game until he catches a touchdown, and you're like, woof.
I mean,
very
he did
rarely
have
throw it
over
there.
1,000 yards. I mean, it's not like he didn't. I would be more concerned if he had like 700 yards and 12 touchdowns.
But,
Then I'd
Brian,
be
like you
oh.
said, half of those came in 3 games.
Yeah.
True. I mean, a third of them came in 3 games. But yeah, no, you're right. Almost half.
Almost half.
Yeah, almost
came in
half.
3
Yeah,
games.
it's almost half. Yeah.
I'm not even doing my own math
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
Wow, it's crazy.
No, I agree. I agree. I think that the talent is there. I think it's probably worth a draft pick. I'm just putting out stats to think about because that's where we are in the season because it's June.
Yeah,
Okay?
I love him.
June.
Depending on where he's going, I think he's great.
Yeah.
I'm into
Vincent Jackson, on the other hand, people are like, whatever about Vincent Jackson. And I'm like, sure, I'll pick him up because he actually didn't do that bad last year. 1,002 yards. He only had 2 touchdowns because they all went to Mike Evans, and those were the only times they could get down the field. Gosh, Tampa Bay was bad.
I like the veteran receiver rookie quarterback combo too. I like that.
I do too. I think
because he's a leader on the team.
Yeah. I think he's still one of the top guys. And right now he's going in like the 6th round, 5th, 6th round.
I think he's going to have a Steve Smith Sr. 2014 season.
Oh, I hope so.
Where it's just like a comeback of like, you thought I was done, but bam. Yeah. I love
mythical.
Vincent Jackson. Yeah.
I like it.
Love him.
Draft sleepers. Jameis Winston reportedly has clawed out any doubts. And it's not just with his legs. Even the pussy cats had to take notice. Gosh, I can't do this, you guys. This is going to be a really long season. I can't talk about this guy.
Awesome.
Are you serious? I so wish I had the Bucks.
I can't do this. It's just too much. It's too much. Listen, they keep saying that he has to earn the job. Okay.
Who is he competing with?
Mike Glennon.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I like Mike Glennon, but they clearly...
I do, too.
They're not going to waste a first-round overall draft pick and start Mike Glennon. It's not happening.
No. Louis Murphy, though, I'd like to talk about him for a second. He's Mr. Occasional Big Game, and I like him. He's one injury away from being a big player. Now, I of course, don't wish injury on anybody, but what I'm saying, though, is that you always want to have that guy that has the talent that could possibly have a larger role.
Right.
Yeah, because, like, you know, when you get down to that bottom of that draft and you're like, I don't even, you know. I got to the bottom of a draft tonight, and I took Dwayne Bowe. How desperate is that?
That is desperate.
Also, in the 17th round, I took Jay Cutler, in case you were wondering where he's going. Just to say I could.
That's awesome.
But when you're looking at Dwayne Bowe, or lower, consider Murphy. I saw sparks of greatness in him. How's that for scientific?
Sparks of greatness.
Sparks of greatness.
I like it.
He and Devontae Adams are my sparks of greatness from today.
Nice.
So if there's 2 things to take from the show, Brandon, it's Louis Murphy has sparks of greatness, and you can get Jay Cutler in the 17th round.
Yes, you can take
Nice. Perfect.
I don't want Jay Cutler at all. Even if somebody gifted him to me, I'd be like, no, thank you. Take him to the next White Santa Christmas party.
Well,
Nope.
my starter is Andrew Luck, so really he's just there for, like, me laughing.
Oh, that's good.
Aww.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, is Teddy Bridgewater still on the board?
No, I wish.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I was just double checking. Because he's down there too, and you know.
Actually, Teddy Bridgewater went pretty quickly for the number 2 guys.
Did he?
Yeah, and I held off because I have such a good number 1, so I needed to kind of fill it.
Right, I agree. Yeah, no, I would have as well.
But yeah, no.
And Jay Cutler, I mean, he's still Cutler. I mean,
still Cutler. There's still potential, especially if Alshon Jeffrey could be a wide receiver 1. Cutler could blow up.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Gosh, he'd be really good at wide receiver 1.
Oh man, I love it. He makes me happy. His comments just entertain all year long.
Always. Well, guys, I know it is June, but fantasy drafts are starting. As Brandon said, she had one tonight. All 3 of us have one in the first week of July. So,
and we're excited to play with you, Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. So exciting. So get yourself ready, guys. Start watching that preseason OTAs and reading up. It's going to be quite the preseason. Thanks for listening to us. Make sure you chat with us on Twitter at HerFantasyFB and on Facebook /HerFantasyFootball. Listen to us on Blog Talk Radio /HerFantasyFootball and on iTunes. You can leave a nice comment for us. That would be fabulous. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, no more faking it.